We have heard no so many times for years about fighter jets and the missiles, wide-range missiles. So right now, when we hear no about Tomahawk, we know that this is just like a beginning of conversation. We need to work harder. We need to figure out different ways, different approaches, because we know how to turn no to a yes.
So the NATO Secretary General, he's in Washington to meet President Trump. He's just been speaking to reporters.
Well, I have total confidence in President Trump. He is the only one who can get this done. He is the leader of the most powerful nation on earth. You are all citizens of the most powerful nation on earth, the most powerful economy, the most powerful military, and you have a president with a lot of experience because of his first term in office and who has a clear vision on bringing this war to a durable and lasting end. His leadership here is crucial. He is clearly providing it.
So the NATO Secretary General there investing faith and hope and praise in President Trump, because that is what he does. Now let us talk live to Riho Taras, the MEP, who was also commander of the Estonia Defence Force until 2018. General, welcome to you.
Hello.
Good to have you here. So the European Union's Council of Leaders is expected then to approve the use of Russian frozen assets to hand Ukraine a very large cheque. Well, I mean, something like 140 billion euros or so. Would that be a game changer?
Well, of course, we all have talked about where to find the money. And if the country's governments are not willing to add more, significantly more to support Ukraine, then of course using the frozen assets of Russia is a good way out. I remind you that there are many countries' leaders, like, for example, President Macron always tells the people that we need to support, but the real support of France and Spain together to support Ukrainian defense has been less than Denmark alone. And look at the GDPs of these countries, you would understand what I'm talking about. So yes, it is good. Of course, it would be necessary that the big countries of Europe also support with much more assets. Today we know that every European citizen or citizen of European Union pays 6 cups of coffee a month to support Ukraine. And if we would increase it to 12 cups of coffee, then Ukraine will be able to fight back. So any resources we can use to support Ukraine are absolutely essential.
That's an interesting perspective. Now, Russia is now threatening to seize EU assets if these Russian assets are frozen and used. What effect will that threat have on EU leaders, if any, do you think?
Well, I don't know how much of European assets are in Russia, but I guess they are not that many, and they are already not used by European countries. So I would rather say that is a threat, threatening that Russia does always. Whether it has an effect, of course, certain effect to the population it will have, and that is what it's all about. We need to explain to the people of our countries that it is not about Ukraine, it's the war about democracy, and that everybody should be concerned about Russia winning war in Ukraine. We would have a 40 million country coming out of the war experience against us with a huge economical potential. We need to use that for us, even because the Ukrainian people do not want to be part of Russia.
Now, this evening, in a couple of hours' time, we'll see the Secretary General of NATO sitting down with Donald Trump in the White House. What do you consider Mark Rutte's mission is tonight?
To whisper in the Donald Trump's ear, because I have the feeling that Donald Trump's memory is just as long as the last phone call. Every time he calls Putin, after that he changes his mind, and the same happens if he talks to Rutte, who is the last one to talk to him, gets the attention. And I really hope that Mark Rutte will get Trump's attention and explain him what is at stake right now, because from the far away from Washington, I think they cannot feel it, really.
All right, General, thank you so much. Rio Terrace there, the MEP and former commander of the Estonia Defence Force. Now, let's turn to Ukraine and welcome to the programme, as always, Kira Rudik, the leader of the Holos party in the Ukrainian Parliament. Welcome to you.
Hello, John, and thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure, Kira. So, look, let's talk first of all about the likelihood now of the European Union making way for a loan of maybe 140 billion euros. I say a loan, it would not be expected to be paid back. What would that mean to Ukraine?
It would mean a huge deal for our ability to purchase the weapons that we desperately need, and for our ability to rebuild a little bit of our energy system that has been destroyed by Russia over the last 4 years. I will give you a quick example, John, that after the recent attacks, there are cities that are still in the blackouts. In Kiev, the electricity was not provided for half of the day. There were water outages. And we are only right now in the middle of October, right? At the end of October. It's not even winter. And the winters are really tough here. So we really need the additional support, and we need it to be massive, to be able to purchase additional air defense systems, to be able to fix what Russia has broken. This is why the idea to take those money as a loan from based on Russian frozen assets is a fair and just way to go ahead. This is something that my team and I myself, we were working on since the day one of full-scale invasion, to make Russia pay for what they broke, but also to arm Ukraine and our allies and our partners, not with the money of the taxpayers, but with Russia's money, because this is such a logical way to go ahead.
I mean, the bombardment, the Russian bombardment, Kira, continued, didn't it? This morning, there was a drone strike on a nursery in Kharkiv at 11 a.m. So the Russian bombardment continues, Kira. It's as clear as day, is it not, that Putin is not at all interested in peace, and he doesn't care who knows it?
Absolutely. John, if we look at this, what would one say was the sign that Putin wants to end the war? I didn't see any single fact, aside of his magical talks with President Trump, that implies that Putin may want peace. We have not seen any single fact on the ground. The attacks at the battlefield continues, the attacks on the peaceful cities continue, and they have not stopped. And every time there is some discussion with the American president, it's not making our situation better. It honestly makes it worse, because then Putin makes a statement that he means business, that he is serious. This is why we are very skeptical about anyone who is saying that Putin wants peace, just let's make a deal. And we hope that step by step, President Trump and his surroundings would realize that.
Do you have any hope, Kira, the president may come round to the idea of supplying or seeing Ukraine supplied with those Tomahawk cruise missiles, which would be such a valuable weapon?
We think that at some point he will have to do it, but for us it may be too late, and this is upsetting. John, you remember we have been talking since the beginning of full-scale invasion. There were so many times we have heard the word no from many of our partners. We have heard no about Patriot missile systems, about tanks. We have heard no so many times for years about fighter jets and the missiles, wide-range missiles. So right now, when we hear no about Tomahawk, we know that this is just like a beginning of conversation. We need to work harder. We need to figure out different ways, different approaches, because we know how to turn no to a yes, especially when Putin is actually intensifying his war, and when those anonymous drones are appearing in different European cities. Does anybody believe it's like just some random drones? Or is it clear by now that this is Russia's hybrid war that they have started in Poland and Romania, where it was confident it was Russian drones? But these incidents continue, and I think the threat now is obvious for everyone.
Kira, I mean, Ukraine, of course, is not without friends. Mark Rutte the NATO Secretary General, is in Washington this evening, and you've seen statements and announcements, more money committed to the coalition of the willing by the British government as well. I wonder if that gives you hope. You do have friends.
I know that one of the highlights of our situation is that we are not alone. And John, every time I'm talking to our military, when I'm coming back from my business trips, from my work on European soil in the United Kingdom, the question that they are asking, like, are people in other countries remember us and supporting us? And with all of my heart, I'm able to say that yes, of course, people are talking about us, people are supporting us, people believe in us. And this understanding and feeling that we are not alone is very important. It's crucial.
Kira, as always, we are thinking of you and we wish you well. Kira Rudik,
Thank you.
leader of the Holos party in Ukraine.